Welcome to the latest episode from Garbolino Midland Match. We're out today filming our second live match. Our first one was at Marston Fields on a commercial. This one is on a natural venue at the stunning Patshull Park fishery. We've drew, for anyone that doesn't know it, you've got 1 to 37's the deeps, the shallows, and then 37, 38 down to 96 is the deeps. It's just a normal Sunday open. So we've got one section on the tail end of the shallows, which is where we've drew, peg 22. And then you've got another section down on the deeps. Much needed break from the commercials. I'm loving my natural fishing again at the minute. So the next couple of videos will probably be on that. We will still do some on the commercials for you. But yeah, I absolutely love it here, right on my doorstep. We are doing something slightly different today, as in last week I done really well on the hybrid feeder with the skimmers. So natural baits didn't really, you got small fish on it, but nothing, no stampers. So we're having a bit of a gamble, a bit of a try, and we're just going to fish hybrid feeders, short and long. So we're going to be putting a lot of pellet in. I've got rods today, the Garbolino G1 range, budget range, absolutely brilliant value for money. We've got the G Feeder 1 method distance, which is clipped up to 72 metres. And we're going to be sort of having, for the first hour on that, we're going to be having 2-minute casts just to put some bait down there. And then our short line, we've got the G Feeder 1 method, which is the 11 foot. That's clipped up to 42 metres. And with that, we've got the G Feeder 1 light feeder, which is just what I'd use for my traditional setup, but I'm just going to put a large feeder on that. And we're going to put 10 feeder falls in on that short line at the start of literally some proper stodgy micros mixed with just a little bit of ground bait. It's a sample one that I'm trying for So Simple baits. We've literally just got a bit of ground bait in there just to help plug the feeder, but we've got some proper stodgy micros in there with a few flecks of the So Simple Fluoro Crush. So we'll put 10 feeder falls of them in at the start, and then we'll go out long, and as I says, we'll have an hour chucking sort of 2-minute cast just to put some bait out there. And then it's just a simple case of your bog standard fishery screttings, micros. Got a good handful of the boilie crush, fluoro boilie crush in there, just to add a fleck of colour. And then hook bait wise, we've got a right array. We've got some 4mm gofters from So Simple. These are bottom baits. Got the Krill and the Beninian, sort of yellow and a natural colour. And then we've got a few wafters as well. Got a few of these micro wafters, sort of multicoloured micro wafters. And then we've got a couple of 6mm pink, which is your sort of go-to colour. So we're going to alternate between the hook baits. We are targeting a very much skimmer match, and hopefully we can nab a few of them. Last week, late on in the match, it worked really well with the stampers, sort of 10 ounce to a pound. I had a really good run of them late on. That was after putting a load of micros in. So yeah, we're going to try and replicate that and hopefully snare a few bigger bonus bream along the way. Weather-wise, it's bright sun, boiling up, not ideal, but there is a nice ripple on the water. So yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be very much a second half of the match type thing if we are going to catch. But I'll give you regular updates and hopefully get some fish on the camera. So I'll bring you back at the... Right, the hooter's just gone, as I said. Got a large sort of bullet type feeder. Got our mixture of micros, proper stodgy overwetted micros. and mix with just a bit of ground bait just to bind it. We're going to put 10 of them in at the start, 42. Got my marker on the far bank. Right, we've just put our 10 feeder fulls in, and I am, just for the sort of the first half hour, going to start on that short line, because you can get sort of an instant impact as soon as you feed down here at Patshull. So we're going to start on a little micro wafter, purely because I think it's going to be the smaller skimmer to start with. So we're just going to have that first half hour over that pile of bait we just put in. See if we can snare a bonus fish, and then we'll go out long. We'll have an hour with 2-minute casts. It's absolutely beautiful down here at Patshull. If you've never fished it, you do like your naturals, you seriously need to come and give it a go. Sort of in the shallows, you are in the water, but we're I mean, we don't need to bother with a platform, especially with these Garbolino boxes with that pin lock leg system. You're sort of in no danger of ever going in. We've got the leg lock fully extended. We're probably sat in 2.5 foot water. But yeah, if you've never been down here, it's absolutely rammed full of fish. There's fishing to suit everyone. There's a lot of small fishing at the minute. So roach, perch, rudd, small skimmers. So there's lads having like 15, 20, 25 pound fishing the whip. There's lads fishing slider. You can fish the waggler. You can fish the pole, short, long, fish the feeder. It's just fishing to suit everyone. We're feeder fishing only. We are targeting the bream and the skimmers. Ideally trying to pick out them bigger stamp ones. You sort of got the small skimmers, which are sort of 3 to 6 ounce. There's a lot of them in here. And then you've got your better stamp ones, which are sort of anywhere from 10 ounce to pound and a half. They're the ones you want to try and single out, because they're your weight builders. And then your bream are just huge dustbin lids, up to about 11, 12 pound. If you can snare a few of them, that will certainly boost your weight up. We've got ourselves our first fish, not the desired species, but a lovely little roach. It's a good sign. There's a few fish milling about. I'm going to swap that micro wafter off for a 4mm. Six mil pink wafter. That's good sign. Few fish coming straight over that bait. Loads of liners. And we'll just keep plodding on. And hopefully snare a few bigger fish. Hopefully the gamble will pay off in the second half of the match. We'll be in skimmer heaven. And bite was bang on 5 minutes. So we'll have a 6-minute cast, because that first little one we bumped off as well, which is probably a roach or a small skimmer. That was sort of 5.5 minutes. So we'll have 6-minute casts. If it carries on with these small fish, there's no real signs of any better stamp fish, we will get the long, we'll go on the long line just to start getting some baiting on that. For anyone on a budget, these G Feeder 1 and G Match 1, that range from Garbolino, budget rods, they're absolutely brilliant for the money. I mean, I've got the full set. I've got the distance one is 12 foot 2. They do a 13 foot and a 14 foot in that as well. So I'm going to grab myself a couple of them as well. Because I don't, as I said, I don't do a lot of this distance fishing. That I can chuck that sort of 70, 75 accurately, but that's my limit. So if I do want to push out a bit further, I am going to get myself the 13 and the 14 foot. Spend a bit of extra money on the reel as well. I have the essential distance reel, because that is brilliant. Hopefully we can work on casting a bit further then as well. There we go. It's a bit better. That was just swapping to that 6mm. That was a bit better fish. These are the ones we're after. Just a lovely skimmer, about 12 ounce to a pound. That's the type of ones we want. Beautiful Patshull Park skimmer. Spat the hook out in the net. That was after 4 minutes. So if we can snare a few more of them early on, we'll be more than happy. Another decent fish by the feel of it. Absolutely beautiful, this style of fishing. better. £2. Absolutely beautiful. Tangled up the other rods. I think I need to rethink my setup there. As we are getting into a right little mess here. Let's see the freak. But that is sort of the stamp you're after. Slap bang in the middle of the bottom lip. To be catching them. That's what I said about going on that line straight away after you've fed it. You can get an instant response like that. I mean, they're only small, probably £3 in the £3 in 3 fish. So I'll just tidy this lot up because we are in a mess, and then I'll bring you back and hopefully we can snare a few more. There we go, a minute and a half again. A small skimmer by the feel of it. But if we can sort of catch these to that bigger stamp, sort of every minute and a half, slime off, it won't take us long to build a weight. At the minute, 6mm wafters pink wafters working well. Last week it was a combined either 4mm yellow gofter or a 4mm sort of natural coloured gofter. But I don't think it really matters. I think if the fish are there munching, doesn't matter what you got, they're going to take it. I'm going to have a half hour, change my game plan a bit. I'm not going to refeed that short line because I'm a bit cautious about feeding over the top of, chucking that feeding over the top of feeding fish. So I'm going to leave that, I'm going to have a half hour on that long line just to get some bait in. Probably do like 1 minute casts, or even probably less, just empty the feeder, just to get some bait out there. So we'll have half hour on that. And then I'll bring you guys back. I'll chuck that short line again. If we haven't nothing in the first sort of couple of casts, I'll put another 5-6 feeder falls in, and then we'll fish that again straight away, just to see if we can get that instant response again. And yeah, we'll sort of go from there and feel our way into it. And then if not, we'll just get back out on that long line and hopefully something's settled over that bait. So I'll bring you back in a little short while. 2 minutes in. There we go. Straight away over that feed. I'm going to try and keep the rod up high because I've clipped that mussel bed a couple of times on the way in. fish over the top of that. But yeah, it may be a case of just stopping on this 42 metre line and just fishing it out, nicking whatever bites we can, refeeding it, fishing it straight away. It's a good sign. 2.5 minutes into that first cast after that refeed. Got another skimmer. Get this straight back out there. We'll just sort of feel our way through the match. Maybe drop on that long line if it feels it needs a rest. But at the minute, if we can keep these little skimmers coming, little runs, I'm having a mare with this tip today. Yeah, if we can keep them skimmers coming, hopefully snare a few bigger ones along the way. There we go, 1 minute 26 that was. Another small skimmer, I think. If we can keep the net ticking over at this rate, I'll be more than happy. Proper angry bite as well. Yeah, small one. They all count. But if we can keep these coming till some bigger fish decide to move in, be more than happy. Especially if they're coming like that, a minute and a half into the cast. Right, I think I'll bring you back for an update in a bit. I'm going to have one more cast on this short line after this one, and then I'm going to drop out long, see if there's anything happening out there. If we can get a few bites out long, or we start getting a better stamper fish, I'll flick the cameras back on, try and get you a few of them on camera, and then I'll sort of give you another update in a little while, and we'll decide what we're going to do for the final part of the match. We're going to gamble on that short line or keep plugging away on that long line. But we'll bring you back in a bit and I'll give you another update. As the tip goes round on 5.5 minutes. So I'll show you this fish and then I'll only a small one. It's nice to be getting bites, but we really could do with slightly better stamp. So I'll switch the cameras off. I'll have another chuck on this just to see, and then I'll have a pop out on that long line and hopefully bring you back when there's some fish on there. Right, we've just had our first fish on the long line. Took a while. Sort of had 4 or 5 2-3 minute casts. and then that bite came on 5 minutes. So I just thought I'd switch the camera back on, get you a bit more footage of the long line. Not happy with that. Not happy with that one. But yeah, I'm sort of going to give it half hour on this. See if we can snare a bonus fish. It's only a small skimmer. 4 ounce, 5 ounce. So I'm going to give it another sort of half hour. And if you have no joy on it, I think I'm just going to put another 10 feeder falls in on that short line, and then just sit on that till the end of the match. That's where we've had the majority of our bites today have been on that short line. Better. So yeah, I'm going to give it half hour on this. Sort of 5-6 minute cast. That bite was just after 5 minutes. Well, as you can probably tell, to another little skimmer. 4 minutes 40. So definitely got to have another cast. It is a very small stamp. And I just don't think this long line's the one. But because we've had a fish on it, we'll give it that one more cast. And then we'll see what happens. Right, we had a couple more big liners on that long line. No more fish, but I had a couple of extra casts on it. It's just, I can't see it taking off. So we've just put 5 feeder falls of our ground bait and stodgy micro mix, and then 5 of just neat pellet on that short line. Just over an hour left, so hopefully we can have that same sort of initial run we had at the start, and slightly better stamp fish. Maybe a couple more bonus ones as well. This feels a bit better. Get over the top of that mussel bed. These are the ones we want. We left it too late again. Maybe putting that feeding half hour earlier might be the better option. These are the stamp fish we want. Right. Right, we've just finished the weighing, just packed up. Camera died right on cue at the end of the match, so I couldn't really give you a rundown. But yeah, that's all. Last 45 minutes we have managed to have a steady little run. Only small skimmers, but we was getting them pretty regular. So we definitely made a mistake in the terms of we should have one-lined it at that 42 metres and put them 10 in at the start and then fished it out. We had the first little initial run, put another 4 or 5 in, topped it up, carried on fishing it, and we should have done that throughout the day and just stayed on that one line, because there was definitely small fish there, and we should have just stayed on them small fish, catching them as many as we can and then getting the odd better stamp one in between. That was definitely the way forward today, I think. I've ended up with 21 skimmers for £12, which was second in the section. 19 or 20 won the section. So if we hadn't messed about for an hour and a half on that long line, which potentially we had a section winning peg. So we let that one slip today, but we have learnt a shed load for next time. So if we're in that sort of area, pegs 20s, early to mid 20s, definitely something in the pellet approach, just fishing the hybrid and putting in feederfuls of pellets, because they were definitely responding to the bait. Our 3 initial runs that we had of fish all come straight after we fed, so there's definitely something in there. I went 42 metres on that short line, just past the mussel bed, and I probably could have done me going 45, 46. I did snag up to the old mussel bed a couple of times, so I think I was just that bit too close to the mussel bed. But the long line, I had hoped we'd snare a few bonus fish on that, but it was just, we had a couple of small skimmers, pretty much the same stamp we were catching on that short line, and the bites were so few and far between. That was pretty much a waste of time. So yeah, main thing is, for next time, I'm still going to do the pellet approach, because that did pick out them skimmers, and I'm just going to one line it, to have a match where we just one line it, just fish it front to back and top it up when it fizzles out, and then maybe have sort of shorter or long line as a backup if it needs like a, I don't know, 10-15 minute rest. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's been a lovely day. I think £24 won the match off the deeps, so it's still pretty close. I mean, we've had 11, there's been 10s, 9s, 7s. The lad who won the section fished the whip all day. I think he had a couple of chucks on the feed and had a couple of skimmers, but nothing major. He's had just a shed load of small fish on the whip, so he's had a lovely day's fishing. But yeah, really enjoyed that, and I hope you have enjoyed the video as well. And if there is anything else you want to see us film or cover, just drop us a message or leave a comment below, and we'll do our best to get out there. I am going to come back here next week, so I may film that again, depending where we are, and we'll try the one line approach and see how we get on with that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.